Just a quick search online, I was reminded how incredible our bodies are. Did you know that our bodies transmit information through neurons at a speed of about 268 miles per hour? Our bodies are capable of defending themselves against pathogens and developing their own soldiers to fight illnesses. They can grow, they can clean themselves, our bodies can cool themselves down by sweating, and adapt by hardening in response to activities and environmental changes to protect us. One interesting fact that I was reminded of or even learned is that our bodies can lie to us as well. They are human after all. Our brains can make us believe that we are sick even when there's no evidence of that. On the brighter side, our brains can convince us of the healing power of medication and even prayer and genuinely help us towards healing. You can personalize this list and add all the amazing things that your body allows you to do each day. And even with this gratitude and acknowledgement, there is frustration and fear that arises when our bodies don't function as they should. When we experience aches and pains, when our bodies cannot take us to places we want to go, when we want our bodies to look a different way than they do in our eyes, and sometimes just frustration at even the normal functioning of our bodies. In Jewish tradition, the marvel of a human body is recognized in our prayer, Asher Yatzar, that we recite every morning. Our youth ed learners are very fascinated with this prayer, knowing that we recite it after we use the bathroom as well. Praise to you, Adonai, sovereign of the universe, who has formed the human body with skill, creating the body's many pathways and openings. It is well before your glory that if one of these openings were wrongly opened or closed, it would be impossible to endure and stand before you. We just want to stand before you, God. This prayer expresses gratitude for the workings of the human body while also prompting thoughts about what might happen if they fail. We are no different from our spiritual ancestors in the Torah. And if we want to learn a little bit of what our ancestors thought about bodies and bodily secretions and how the bodies work, we can look no further than this week's double Torah portion, Tazariah and Mesorah. Our ancestors went to the Torah and went to the priests for all their medical answers. The Torah attempts to deal in great length not only with the physical appearance of a human body, but also what comes out of our bodies. In ancient times, the physical state of a person as well as their bodily emissions was seen as normal, that we see as normal and humanly as possible now, were a source of fear and concern for them. Physical illnesses appear to be impure led individuals being deemed unsuitable for sacred tasks and excluded from their communities until they were pure again. There were rituals to be performed for one who would undergo this state of impurity before they were integrated back into society. In Leviticus 12 and 13, for example, we learn of the state of a woman who gives birth. When a woman gives birth to a male child, she is considered impure for 7 days, and when she gives birth to a female child, she is considered impure for 14 days, and there are other days that you count, of course, for separating yourself from the community. This is a practice that is still prevalent in more observant Jewish communities. Many schools of thought point out that impure is just a state of being. It's not necessarily that someone has done something wrong. But when we look closely, we see that impurity that is talked about in the Torah is said to spread from one person to another and also to the sanctuary So, people who were deemed impure were not to be interacted with. Rabbi David Leon teaches that in the ancient times, the fear and the taboo surrounding childbirth led their isolation so that others would not have to see or tolerate their condition. Blood in the Torah was regarded as a very delicate boundary between life and death. We continue to recognize that the human body is beyond understanding. Even though we may not address the functioning and the changes of our bodies in the same way as described in the Torah, we still have rituals and prayers that reflect our complex feelings about our bodies, especially in our progressive communities. Some people choose to purify themselves occasionally through the mikveh. We recite daily prayers to acknowledge the inner workings of our bodies and celebrate the different stages of our physical existence as holy and now not impure. One fascinating purification ritual in this week's Torah portion addresses a person affected by a scale disease known as sara'at. Our teachers explain this condition serves as a punishment for gossip, referring to Lashon Hara or the evil tongue. They connect this because of the incident that happens to Miriam when she was punished with the same disease for speaking ill of Moses' wife. The sages in the Talmud warn that when someone speaks disparagingly about their neighbor, it is as though they have committed murder. The person is warned several times before the punishment manifests on their body. First, their walls of their houses turn green, the clothing turn green, and if they continue to ignore these signs, their bodies might develop this severe scaly disease, and they will be isolated from the community. How we talk to each other and about each other in ancient times and even in our days is feared to lead to impurity, not just for ourselves, but the impurity affects the entire community and the sanctuary as well. And this is one part of the Torah that I agree with, that what comes out of our mouth affects everybody around us. We are currently in the period of counting the Omer, which spans 49 days from the second night of Pesach to Shavuot when we received the Torah. Historically, this was an agricultural festival, the time when Jews brought their first grains as an offering of gratitude to the temple. Our teachers of Kabbalah encourage us to use these times and these days as paths of transformation. We should focus on improving and elevating ourselves by emulating certain aspects of the divine. Each day that we count the Omer, we should choose one divine attribute to reflect on and elevate ourselves to, whether it is loving kindness, humility, harmony. Today, Kabbalah recommends this very day that we concentrate on the awareness of God, both within us and around us, reminding ourselves to be gentle with ourselves, to express gratitude for who we are, for our bodies as they are, even when they disappoint us, to communicate with compassion to each other and to ourselves as though we are speaking to the divine. Shabbat Shalom.